I know you're a big WNBA guy,
Right.
and I am not. But as an outside observer, I mean, it's just wild to me to see some of the stuff that has gone down surrounding her.
Right.
There was, it's just, it's almost like the Stephen A. Smith thing now. It's just throw out any take you can on Caitlin Clark, no matter how nonsensical it is, and you will get attention. And for me, as someone, again, who's not a follower of that sport, I just see the numbers. So, like, I know what the numbers are when she's playing, and I know what they are when she's not. I know what the attendance is when she's in a building and what it's not. So, I can't get into all the other stuff, but like, there was someone, I don't even remember who, because I don't think it was someone I take seriously, but who was someone said like Angel Reese made Caitlin Clark more popular. Like, is it? I don't. It. There's just like no take that people.
Both are very popular. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think.
Well, they're not both very popular because
one is more popular. Caitlin Clark is certainly more popular than Angel Reese. But Angel Reese is a popular women's basketball player, unquestionably.
Right? No. I'm just talking about from a rating standpoint.
Yeah,
you can't compare the numbers.
There's no one else in the league who's putting up the viewership.
So let me ask you this question that was at WNBA floor. Do you think the Caitlin Clark, I'm not talking about any other team except her team.
Fever, right. Yeah.
Are those ratings going to keep going up, or do you think they're plateauing?
No, I think they'll continue to go up. Again, you have to look at it in terms of where they're airing, right? So there's national games on ABC, which will get the most viewers. They have games on ESPN, second most viewers. They have games on CBS. That's like ABC. But sometimes they're on NBA TV. Sometimes they're on ION. Those are going to be obviously lower because carriage there is lower. There's no one else. There are popular players in the league for sure. Asia Wilson, Sabrina Ionescu, Kelsey Plum, sort of go, Angel Reese, and go on the list. There's only one so far that truly has like a Tiger Woods, Mike Tyson, LeBron James.
Needle mover.
LeBron James in his prime impact on viewership, and that's Caitlin Clark. And so as long as the Fever are competitive, and I think as of today they're 7-7, those viewership numbers should be good. What would be very interesting to me as sort of a ratings nerd would be if they can get to the point where they become like, a consistent playoff team like the Warriors in their heyday. Be really curious to see how high those numbers can go, because I think my thesis would be this. There are a lot of people like you who don't watch the WNBA at all, but if they hear that Caitlin Clark is in the finals of the WNBA, they may check that game out or those 3 games out. Right. And that's when the WNBA could go from, all right, we're pulling 2-3 million viewers for our finals. Maybe that goes to 6-7. For that league, that would be game changing. That's what Caitlin Clark did in college. Like for a long time, the finals for the NCAAs, great property, 6 million, 7 million, et cetera, right? During Caitlin Clark's run, started at like 14 million. And then in the big, gigantic title game, 18.9 million. And no one... the closest I've seen as a sports media writer in terms of viewership is Tiger.
Tiger
and Caitlin Clark, they're the two that in my time writing about this have just changed everything. And then before my time or before our time, that was Jordan.
I'm just wondering, I'm curious, I don't want to use the word novelty because that's not the right word, but maybe like the curiosity factor in watching her play, if that is... Now, I know, like I saw something, the top 5 WNBA games this year are all her games. Right. But are those, I'm just wondering, is there still room for those games to go up, and up? Or is there a plateau? People have checked her out. People have seen what's going on. Or people interested in watching her play every single game?
Yeah. Again, like we're not, I will give my opinion. We won't know for another 2 or 4 or 7 years. But like Steph Curry, I just think she does things in a game that are always interesting. Like you can relate to somebody who shoots a 35-footer. Like that's just cool to watch. So no, I don't think we're close to the ceiling yet. And then the other thing that's very good for this league is more great players will continue to come in, and more the college players are becoming more famous. There's a reason for that: commercials, NIL, etc. So that should help the WNBA. The perfect example this year is Paige Beckers. Have you heard of her from UConn?
I heard of the name. I mean, I wouldn't know if she fell on me, but I know the name.
The point is you heard of the name. And that might be different if I would have said to you 5 years ago who the number one pick in the draft is. You would have been like, I've not heard of that name.
Right.
There's your difference.
Right.
And so I think the ceiling in that league is much higher, in my opinion.
Is all the nonsense surrounding her with all these things with, if the players are jealous or players are mad, players said, oh, we were here before her. Is that helping or hurting the league?
Well, probably both. I think the officiating in that league is not good, and they really got to improve it. And I think she's been a part of some games where they lost control of the game, and it got.
So wait, I got to interrupt you there. So in the NBA, the theory is that the refs try to protect the stars. That's not the case in the WNBA.
Not enough.
Not?
Not just her, by the way. Not enough, at least in my opinion. Well, hopefully that changes. So I just think the officiating hasn't caught up with how good the athletes are in the league. That's, to me, the biggest issue. So that's one. And then secondly, I am sure you see this from Chartbeat at Sports Illustrated, and I know I see this at our place, The Athletic. People are so interested in her, right?
Right.
So if what I'm seeing at my place is X, what you're seeing at your place is X, then every person who is a content producer has to be seeing the same thing. There's your answer for why people are writing or talking in audio about Caitlin Clark. And then, like everything else in this freaking world, some people will do the work and try to give you at least like accurate, honest, thoughtful takes. And then other people are just going to use her for whatever they want to use her for, right? Like they'll just
but it does seem to me as an outside observer who's covering it really for ratings and nothing more.
Right.
It looks to me like maybe 20% of the attention she gets is for her ratings and what she's doing for the league. And then the other 80% is people either criticizing her or coming after her, or the things with the refs, or we need to protect her. She needs a bodyguard, like all these peripheral things. Like it gets.
I mean, you could do a whole podcast on this. I think there are groups of people who have come to the sport because of her. Unquestionably new fans, right? And that is going to at times cause some issues, maybe issues is the wrong word, but cause some natural conflict with people who have been fans of the sport forever. My hope would be that ultimately, like, everybody sort of can figure out, like, this is all good for the league. It's more attention to the league, more money, it's more dollars, it's going to raise the salary cap. But there are some people who I think don't like the fact that, like, she's getting all this outsized attention, but like her play has warranted it. And to me, like, that doesn't take away if you want to talk about Nafisa Collier, who you might not know. She's one of the great players.
Never heard of her.
Plays for the Lynx. She'll win the MVP this year. Or Asia Wilson. Like, eventually, like, this is all good. Like in baseball, like if you're talking about, Who's going to win who won the AL Rookie of the Year last year? I should know this.
It was Heel from the Yankees.
Who was it?
Luis Heel from the Yankees.
So talking about that guy does not take away, right, from talking about Ohtani. Like, there's room for both. So my hope is that, especially for year 3 for Caitlin, some of this dies down, but some of it, the league has to get a better control, of my opinion, of the officiating. And I do think, like, I'm sorry, like, there are Jordan rules. You got to protect your stars. That happens in the NBA. That happens I mean, if the WNBA wants to, like, sort of take a lesson, go watch an NFL game. Do they take care of Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen? Like, of course. That's who sells the sport. So I think that should get better. And again, I to me, like, I love the game, and I don't think her success takes away from, like, my interest in other players. But if I was a stock buyer on leagues, I'm buying that stock. I think that sport has got a lot of room to grow. And actually, Sportico just came out this week with WNBA franchise valuations.
Right.
They're like hundreds of millions of dollars. These franchises are worth.
But if she blew out her Achilles tomorrow, no one's going to watch the league again.
Don't say no one, but it would certainly hurt the viewership. Yes.